Power Rangers the Horror Show. Welcome back to Reamlore, and today we are continuing our look at horror and Power Rangers from least terrifying to most terrifying. Make sure you check out my previous video talking about the other horror stories in Power Rangers. With all that said, my name is Rocko from Reamlore, and let's dive in. By the way, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. We upload videos just like this one on our Reamlore channel. Subscribing is completely free and you can always change your mind. Make sure to hit that bell so you get notified when we upload. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so if you subscribe, it would mean a lot to us. RPM Blitz. This is a pretty solid episode of RPM, as was the whole show. It was a phenomenal Power Rangers season. But this one is noteworthy for the opening nightmare scene. Dylan the Black Ranger has a mysterious past, as in he was taken and experimented on by Vengex, and doesn't remember anything. So in this nightmare scene, we see a bit of what Dylan's last memory was. Him being experimented on and failing to save his sister. It's an unsettling sequence and probably the scariest nightmare scene we've had in Power Rangers. I highly recommend this episode as well as all of RPM. RPM is definitely a must-watch. Wild Force, The Master's Last Stand. One of the best episodes of Wild Force, just for reference. So the Red Ranger Cole was raised in the jungle with the mystery of what happened to his parents looming over him, and he was about to learn the truth from the big bad Master Org. One of my favorite Power Ranger villains, by the way. Spoilers now, Master Org is actually Victor Adler, a human who knew Cole's parents. After Jindrax and Toxica left, he thought he was finished, so he set up a trap to either kill the Rangers or die trying. He lured Cole and the other Rangers in before trapping them all with his vines. This is where the horror kicks in with the 4 Rangers trapped by vines in the scary hospital while Cole just gets beaten down. It's also shot like a horror movie with creepy music, dark lighting, and with the hospital setting, it looks like a scene straight out of Stranger Things. Master Org then drops the big bombshell. He killed Cole's parents. They were a team of scientists trying to prove Animaria, the perfect nature paradise, really existed. They were inseparable, but things took a turn when Adler fell in love with Cole's mother. He wanted to confess his feelings, but Cole's father swept her up even though he knew about Victor's feelings. Victor got more jealous when his chance at a family was squandered, and reporters were more interested in talking to Cole's father about their research, not him. Things took another turn when they found the remains of the original Master Org in these seeds. Consumed by the lust for revenge, Victor ate the seeds and gained his powers, using them to kill Cole's parents and loving it. Jeez, when you think a villain can't get any more evil. From there, a great fight breaks out. Seriously, Wild Force had some of the best fights in all of Power Rangers. The perfect balance of martial arts, weapons, wireworks, and explosions. Cole wins the fight while Merrick the Silver Ranger frees the others. Cole lets Victor live after it's clear his powers are gone, saying revenge consumed Adler and Cole won't walk that same path. Adler still gets his comeuppance, however, when his former lackeys, Jindrax and Toxica, toss him off a cliff. But this wasn't the end of Master Org. I mean it when I say this was an awesome episode, not just because of the writing, acting, and action, but also the downright horror used to make everything better. Definitely worth a watch. Unlimited Death Ranger. This is a story from the Boom Studios run of Power Ranger comics. When making this list, I thought we'd get more entries, but the comics don't delve into horror that often. Dark, serious moments, sure, but never horror. This is the exception, a story revolving around the Death Ranger and his zombie army. Many lifetimes ago, the first group of Omega Rangers defended the universe from cosmic threats, featuring the red, black, yellow, blue, and gold Omega Rangers. The most different was Spark, the Gold Ranger with the power of the sun. He's different from his teammates, and that's because him and his species have a different interpretation of death. By that I mean they don't really die, they finish their life journey. And that ties into his great catchphrase, "Your journey is at an end." When their life journey ends, they join this thing called the Legacy, a collection of stored memories. So no one from his species really ever dies. The concept of death is something Spark's not familiar with. He becomes familiar real quick when his friend Haza, the Blue Ranger, is killed right in front of him, and he experiences something he's never felt: grief. These new feelings overwhelm him and he gets consumed by this desire to beat death, saying this can't be how things end. Spark works tirelessly to find a way to best death and gets a little help from the big bad himself, Dark Spectre. With his help and tapping into his morpher, Spark is able to revive Haza, which has been a thing in Power Rangers. The morphing grid has shown it can revive people, but this is unnatural because Haza is now a zombie, along with a bunch of other zombies Spark revives. The other Omega Rangers are not okay with this, and a fight breaks out, during which Haza briefly regains control and attacks Spark, which leads to him getting shot. Haza pleads with him that death is a part of life and that's how things are, but Spark is determined to beat death as he dies. Spark can't connect to the legacy, however, because he's too far. Instead, he puts his memories into his morpher, swearing to beat death by any means necessary. Jeez, talk about creating a horror movie monster. A zombie overlord Power Ranger was not what I was expecting from this franchise. But hey, it does lead to some good horror, especially later down the line when he turns some of the Rangers into zombies. Highly recommend this one, as well as any Boom Studios Power Ranger book. I'm jealous of how good their comics are. Zeo, It Came from Angel Grove. Yes, one of my favorite episodes of Zeo. The story of this sees our green Zeo Ranger Adam getting trapped in a world where his friends have become universal movie monsters. It starts at school, where Adam is late night studying and takes a break to watch Bride of Hackensack, where a vampire, werewolf, mummy, and witch fight a mad scientist and his bride. Okay, I need to see this movie now. Anyways, Adam goes to sleep, but when he wakes up, he doesn't have his morpher and he's cornered by Lord Zed and Rita. Even though Rita and Zed are goofy, there's something scary and unsettling about seeing them in the dark of night cornering one of the Rangers, when thunder and lightning are behind them. And this was shocking because we haven't seen Zed and Rita since they ran away in the first episode. They revealed the Machine Empire had taken over the world and transformed Adam's friends into monsters. How terrifying is that? You fall asleep for 2 hours, but when you wake up, the world is ended? So to fix the world, Adam needs to find Zordon or the Great Wizard so he can undo all of this. I really like that Adam is the main focus. He doesn't get much character developments in Zeo, so giving him a cool episode like this is very nice. Adam's world goes black and white as he has to contend with all of his friends turned into monsters. Vampires, werewolves, witches, abominations of the human mind. The music is especially creepy, moving away from the normal high-energy rock tunes. Adam gets to the wizard, who forces Tommy to fight for Adam's wish, risking his life. This is the unsaid rule of how to make something truly scary, by taking away your power to act. A lack of control and feeling of helplessness can make anyone scared. Even though Tommy won, it turns out the wizard was King Mondo playing games with Adam. He went to kill Adam, but as it turns out, it was all a dream. Goofy ending aside, this was an incredible episode that paid tribute to the classic Universal monsters. It's one of Zeo's best episodes. I highly recommend it. And we've gotten here. We now have the scariest episode of Power Rangers in its 30+ year history. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy: The Rescue Mission. After all these years, I can't believe this happened. Believe it or not, this is an Alien homage. Yes, that Alien. The Ridley Scott sci-fi horror face-hugger, chest-burster, xenomorph, game over man, game over, Alien. The story of this is Terra Venture gets a distress call from a spaceship asking for help, so they send out a small trooper squad to investigate. The squad features Leo and Mike, the Lost Galaxy Rangers, as well as a bunch of randoms. They go inside the dark spaceship and find the place covered with webs, slime, and dead bodies. Yes, all of this is true. Turns out the distress call was playing on loop, as the crew have been dead for a while. We then meet the alien monster responsible, and he's scary. Normally, Power Ranger monsters are fun. They're colorful and filled with personality. This thing, however, looks like he was plucked from Alien vs. Predator. He's covered in slime, has bulging muscles, Freddy Krueger finger knives on both hands, and a legitimate predator face. The monster abducts the team one by one until Leo and Mike are the only ones left. Thankfully for them, the other Lost Galaxy Rangers arrive to help. From there, they save the team and narrowly escape the destruction of the ship. I am never going to get over the fact that this episode was made. I personally think that this script was a pitch for an Alien show adapted into Power Rangers. I've seen the Alien movies, and I'm not lying, this is pretty much one for one. The costumes, atmosphere, music, action, it's Alien. It's filled with great moments too, like Leo finally being able to rescue his brother after failing to do so in the second episode. I only have two critiques. First is the elephant in the room. Why don't Mike and Leo transform? Well, I know why, that would break the atmosphere. So come up with an excuse, like the ship they're on is unstable and they can't risk morphing. The second thing is we don't know any of the soldiers with them, so it's hard to care. I know they're one-offs, but give us a scene like from Predator where they're on the ship bantering so we can learn a little bit about them. Even with all of that, this is hands down by far the scariest episode of Power Rangers. I remember seeing this on TV one time way early in the morning and leaving a huge impression on me. Like, I couldn't believe this was Power Rangers until they showed up at the end. It truly is an iconic episode of Power Rangers and a must-watch. After the journey we went on through Power Rangers the horror show, I have to say, horror and Power Rangers go together better than I thought. Normally, superhero horror is hard to pull off. One wrong move and you can make a real stinker. But with Power Rangers, I wouldn't mind if they delved into more horror. Not every episode, but once or twice a season would be cool. Hoping for horror in the new Power Rangers season. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later.